Hey guys, thank you for joining me today on the Quitting 101 channel, and the purpose of me creating this video today is so that I can walk you step by step on the process of how to quit smoking. And believe it or not, the task of quitting does not have to be a painstaking and excruciating process, and it might actually be a lot easier than you think. I understand that many of us have not been successful on more than one occasion in the past, and I truly believe it's because we didn't have the right recipe for success to quit smoking. Let's try to think of it like this. If you had to make a 5-star chicken dish for dinner, you may or may not succeed. And your success is going to vary on many different things. For example, if you have little experience in cooking and we're only left with just the raw ingredients and nothing else, you'll most likely not succeed. However, if you had the recipe book made by the best chef in town with step-by-step instructions to walk you through exactly how to create this dish, now your chances of creating a delicious dinner are multiplied significantly. And there are many things that's going to contribute to your final product, such as ingredients, technique, and other such factors, but it's something that anyone with the right recipe and know-how can do. So just like this concept, my aim is to provide you with an easy and step-by-step recipe book on how to quit smoking. Believe me, the addiction of cigarette smoking can be very complex, but when understood, it's something that can be broken down and definitely overcome, and thousands of people have succeeded before you in the past. Now, please keep in mind, this is a free course, and I've also put together an ebook available to download for you guys at quitting101.com. So, as a smoker, you've probably tried to quit, and you've probably tried to quit more than once. I know I sure have. I've tried everything from the gum to lozenges to the patch, and I've read multiple books and articles on how to quit smoking. Now, granted, every time I did attempt to quit, it was a learning experience, but it wasn't until I found the secret recipe for success that I was finally able to break free from my 3-pack-a-day addiction for good. So, let's jump right into it. I'm going to give you guys the secret as to why it's so hard to quit smoking, and that reason is because contrary to popular belief, this addiction is not a single obstacle that you can beat, but rather a complex mix of 4 powerful elements which work together to make it as strong as it is. And I've noticed that a lot of books that I've read and infomercials that I've seen all focused on just one aspect of this addiction, but in a sense they were incomplete, as there are actually 4 elements which build this addiction. And these obstacles are what I like to call the 4 roadblocks to quitting smoking. So imagine this. Let's say you have the task of breaking apart tree branches to start a fire, and in front of you you have 4 long branches that are each an inch in diameter, which you need to break in half before you could fit them in your fireplace. So what would be the best possible way for you to now break these branches apart? Would you pick all of them up at once and try to break them over your knee, or try to break them using sheer force alone? That wouldn't seem like the best way to go, and you may even injure yourself in the process. So while a group of branches together are nearly impossible to break, if you took them one by one and broke them apart individually, your chances of success are much higher. Quitting smoking based on sheer willpower alone is the equivalent of taking these 4 branches and trying to break them all at once. No matter how many times you try, you'll most likely come up short. So, like this concept, the 4 roadblocks in front of you are working together to create this very powerful addiction, and your job now is going to be to understand what they are, and then you can make the attempt to break them apart individually. So let's get to the meat of this. What are the 4 roadblocks? And here they are. Number 1 is mindset. Now, this is a key element in the structure of the 4 roadblocks, because if we could only control our motivation and impact our own attitude, we'd be able to accomplish pretty much everything that we've ever wanted to. If we could set our minds to attain success, then nothing is too far out of our reach. But part of the problem that many of us are having as smokers is that we've gradually reprogrammed our perspective in a non-productive manner, and this has happened over the course of years through repetitive conditioning. So, through this course, we'll cover the basis on creating the right mindset to achieve our goals. Number 2 is the habit. Now, the habit is an automatic response triggered by events, routines, and emotions that tell your body that I need a cigarette. Throughout this course, we clearly distinguish the difference between the habit and the addiction, as many often loosely interchange these words. The habit is just one element of what makes this addiction so strong, but should not be mistaken as the addiction itself. The habit of smoking and wanting to smoke is a very powerful part of this addiction, and we're going to learn how to properly train ourselves to overcome it. Number 3 is psychological dependence, and this element deals with the emotional bond that we've developed with smoking over the years. We've become so dependent on cigarettes that we can no longer function at optimal levels without one. We've learned to associate smoking with many positive feelings, and they eventually became an emotional crutch for us. Cigarettes have become our best friend that we go to for support, comfort, and many of our other emotional needs. And we're going to cover the necessary techniques to attack this specific dependence and learn to be able to properly function without having to rely on cigarettes. Roadblock 4 is the physical dependence. And if you've ever experienced feelings such as nervousness, irritability, shivering, or even cold sweats from not being able to smoke, you've had firsthand experience of the withdrawal symptoms of your physical dependence to nicotine. And regardless of the hype, the physical portion of this addiction can be overcome in a matter of days. And we're going to later discuss how to deal with the detoxification of nicotine and cover a few methods to ease the struggle. Okay, so now that we've established the 4 roadblocks in front of us, we're almost ready to get into how to overcome them. But before we do that, let's get out a notebook and a pen or a pencil and do a quick assignment. So for the next few days, I want you to track exactly how you use your cigarettes in your daily life. And I recommend downloading my ebook at quitting101.com to see an example of this, because it's a bit hard to cover all this material that I'd like to on a series of videos, but for now, your assignment is going to be to track every cigarette that you smoke. So for the next several days, write down in your notebook exactly when you smoke and try to identify the trigger or cue that made you want to smoke. For example, if you smoke as soon as you have your first cup of coffee in the morning, the cup of coffee is the trigger. If you have a cigarette routinely at lunch, then eating lunch is the trigger. If you smoke with every glass of wine that you drink, then wine is your trigger. And you get the point. So identify what your triggers are, and we're going to use these notes a little bit later. And after you finish this assignment, you can move on to the second video.